Hello and welcome. Today we're making pumpkin pie. For the crust, we will need 1 stick of butter and we will cut that into small pieces and freeze for minimum 1 hour. We need the butter to be extremely cold when making the dough. This way our crust will be very flaky and super flavorful. You can cut it in smaller pieces if you want, or this way will work too. Now we will take the butter and spread it on a plate and put it in the freezer for minimum 1 hour for the butter to get really cold, almost frozen. Next step is to measure 1.25 cups of flour. And here I'm showing you how to properly measure the flour. Basically, you scoop it out of the bag and add with the spoon into your measuring cup. Once it's all full, don't pack it, because if you pack the flour, it will be more than you need. So fill it out gently, and then using a knife or something straight, just level up the cup. And that's how you measure properly 1 cup of flour. Now we'll do the exact same steps with the 1/4 cup. Fill it up with using a spoon with flour loosely, and then using a knife, just level it up, and we will have 1.25 cups of flour. Next, we will add the flour to a bowl. Then add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of sugar and mix everything well. Next step is to add the flour mixture to the food processor. Now we will add to the food processor the butter that has been sitting in the freezer for the past half an hour or so. Make sure you use unsalted butter. Here I forgot to add the mixing tool for the food processor, but you make sure to add it in the beginning. Next step is to mix in the butter with the flour. So using the pulsing function of the food processor, just pulse until the butter has very small pieces. As you can see here, you can see the flour and there is little pieces of butter that you can see. So now our dough is ready for the next step. For the next step, we need to add some liquid to bring this dough together. So in a little bowl, add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and also 2 tablespoons of water. The apple cider vinegar helps make the dough really flaky when it bakes, so do not skip that step. Using the pulse function, add the water and apple cider vinegar mixture and continue pulsating until your flour dough resembles wet sand. So when you open it and look inside, you can see that the dough sticks together, so that's when you know that it's ready. We'll then flour a surface really well and add our dough mixture. No worries if it feels a little sticky, that's how it's supposed to be, because we want to make this into a nice round shape. We'll use our hands to shape all the dough into a disc or a rectangle. Just keep working through it. It's going to take you probably like 3-4 minutes to do it, but make sure that you incorporate all that dough into a disc shape. Also, you can kind of fold the dough in half, and that will help you get all those last little pieces into it. Make it into a disc shape or rectangle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now we'll put the dough on a plate, and you can cover it with plastic wrap or just put another plate on top and put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. While the dough is in the fridge, we'll make the pumpkin pie filling. So to a bowl, let's add about 1.5 cups of pumpkin puree. Then we'll add about 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ginger powder, half a teaspoon of cardamom, and a pinch or about a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. You can also use pumpkin pie spices, but I like this combination a lot better than the pumpkin pie spice already pre-mixed. Now we will mix all these spices into the pumpkin puree to be fully incorporated. We will then add 2 large eggs and also mix this well. As a last step, we will add 1 jar of sweetened condensed milk. I've been making this recipe for so many years, and I have to tell you, I tried it different ways with adding milk and sugar instead of condensed milk. And the sweetness is the best with the condensed milk. It provides this very balanced pumpkin pie. So if you're not into super sweet desserts, I think you will really love this one. That's how the filling should look. By now, the dough should be nicely chilled in the fridge, so bring it out, place it on a well-surfaced area, and using a rolling pin, roll the dough into a circle about 1 inch thick. Don't worry if the cracks come out, you just use your hand to stick the dough back together. Also, when I roll out the dough, I usually like to put the pie pan on top of the dough, so kind of to give me an idea how much bigger I need to make it. In diameter, it should be about 2 to 3 inches bigger. Now we'll take the dough and place it on the pie pan. If you're not very confident that you can transfer it safely, you can fold it in half or quarters and then transfer it onto the pie pan. Arrange it nicely in the pan, and I know some recipes say that you need to cut the ends and throw them away. I never do that. I kind of fold the ends inside because this crust is so delicious. I don't want to lose any of it. So make it look as pretty as you want, but fold the dough inside, and then either with your hands make the pie shape, the edges of the pie shape, or sometimes I use a fork to kind of make the shape of the pie dough. After shaping the dough into the pie pan, I like to put it in the fridge for another 20 to 30 minutes to kind of set the butter and cool down before I add the pie filling. You can also make the dough the day before and keep it in the fridge, but when you take it out to roll it, make sure you take it out about 30 to 45 minutes before you need to roll it out. This way you will be able to roll it without major cracks happening to the dough. You can also make this crust the day before and just cover it with plastic wrap, put it in the fridge until you need to fill out with your pie filling. Just don't bake it, keep it raw in the fridge. Last step is to add the pumpkin pie filling and bake at 425 degrees for the first 15 minutes, then lower the heat to 350 degrees and bake another 40 to 50 minutes. So I put my timer at 40 minutes, and then I check with a toothpick or a knife to make sure that it comes out clean. You can decorate your pie with some whipped cream or ice cream, and I added some pumpkin seeds because I really like the texture and the flavor. The result is this beautiful pie with silky interior and super flaky crust. It is so delicious. Look at that crust. How flaky, how beautiful it is. It's super delicious. If you try it out, let me know in the comments below. Till next time.